Red is nice. Hair down, you look awesome.
Thank you.
Joy, red is nice. Hair down, you look awesome.
Thanks,
How'd I
guys.
do?
Skip.
I tried to do it right. Did it come across right?
Why do you think I always have an ulterior motive? Why?
Because I know.
I mean, why can't I just be nice? Why can't I just be?
No, because I have a feeling you're going to say some things that are going to offend me today when we talk about Dwayne Wade. So is that what you're doing? You're just buttering me up?
Nope.
Yeah.
Wade kind of in Cleveland now.
Don't
You believe
don't even start. Don't start. But let's get started with the latest on the national anthem protest. Many NFL players, coaches, and owners showed signs of solidarity on Sunday and Monday in response to President Trump saying players that protest the anthem should be fired or suspended. On Sunday, Ray Lewis was on the sidelines on both knees alongside Ravens players before their game in London. Ray talked about that last night. Let's take a listen.
Let's make sure you hear people saying, oh, he took a knee. I absolutely did not take a knee. I walked onto the ballot.
Hold on, let's be clear. When you say you hear people say.
You hear Shannon Sharpe going out there talking about I dropped on a knee and this is about, oh, I sat in the chair next to him and I said I would never do this and I still didn't do it. I'm watching young kids just confused. Everybody confused. Nobody don't know what they're talking about. What am I do? If I'm gonna stand up, if I'm gonna grab hands, if I'm gonna interlock, what am I gonna do? So I walked away, JB, and I didn't drop on one knee in order to protest. Boom, I dropped on two knees, both knees, so I can simply honor God in the midst of chaos.
And Ray, hold on. So you are passionately making this point, which, by the way, you were very passionate in our production meeting as well. So put a little bit of context on this. The reason you mentioned Shannon, meaning Shannon Sharpe, your former teammate, why are you mentioning him? What does he have to do?
He goes out and tells somebody why he's so disappointed in me.
In you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm 42 years old with 6 kids. I'm a grown man. So to be disappointed in me, it really sparked me. And now all of these people are going off his sound bites of how he's so shocked that I dropped on the knee to protest. Really? You got my phone number, brother. A friend picks up the cell phone and said, bro, what was your intention? What were you doing? You saw my mouth moving. I asked the Lord.
Your mouth moving was because?
Praying.
Shannon, what's your reaction?
First, I don't like that he called me by my entire government name, Shannon Sharpe. I think he could have just referenced Shannon and everyone would have known who he was talking about. Skip, I get why he's angry. Because when your friends offer the harshest critique of you, it hurts the most because they're closest to you. And I get why he's angry. He also has a very valid point. I could have called him and asked, Ray, what were you doing? But we have an early show. He's flying back from London. I can honestly say this. I'm not so sure. Had I even talked to him, I still would have said what I said. Because the optics of it and what he said, even though he says he was praying, and I take him at his word that he was praying. You mean to tell me you can't drop down on 2 knees beside Colin Kaepernick and still ask that God that you were asking to, as you mentioned, in that sea of chaos that was going on off of what President Trump said? I'm sure Colin Kaepernick would like prayers also. He would like someone to kneel down beside him and ask this God, this great and glorious God that we pray to, most of us, some of us pray to on a daily basis. You see, Skip, perception is not always reality, but the optics of it, given what he had said, because when he first had another thing, you mentioned this, Ray, you got to be careful with social media because he kept saying what they said. They said Shannon Sharpe said. We know who those they are.
Yep, we do. Or we don't know, but go ahead.
Right. And the thing is that he's listening to what they said. The thing that hurts me the most is that I said what I said. Ray came back with his critique, and now we're talking about it, and we're still not talking about the issue at hand. We're talking about the anthem. And I've tried so hard, Skip, since I've become on this side of the equation, the media, I've always tried not to be a part of the story. And what I try to do is offer my opinion and say, this is what I believe. And I haven't wavered when it comes to Colin Kaepernick, his ability to play, and Colin Kaepernick and what he originally took the knee for. I have not wavered.
You have not.
And that's my only thing. Now, Ray and I somehow become subplots to an issue. Ray should have his opinion. I should have my opinion. But I should not have to offer a critique. I shouldn't have to come back and try to explain myself to what he said last night. He said what he said. I honestly believe, Skip, that Ray and I are trying to get to the same direction, the same destination. I just believe that we're taking different paths in order to get there. I also told Ray last night, we had a very heartfelt conversation, Skip, because I've known Ray Lewis for over 2 decades. I've seen him at a
Quick point of order. Do you think you spoke to him before or after?
I spoke to him after.
After.
After. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
All right.
And I did not hear what he said. People, they were calling, people called me, friends called me, friends of both of ours. Did you hear what Ray said? I said, no, I haven't heard it yet. I said, but people have informed me what he said. Are you upset? No, I'm not upset. My grandma used to have a saying, Skip. She said, son, teeth and tongue will fall out. Your teeth bite your tongue mad at your teeth, and they might part ways. She said, but son, family and friends should never fall out. I'm never going to fall out with Ray Lewis. We disagree on this issue. We disagree with what Colin Kaepernick is doing. We disagree with how we should best go about it. But that's okay. We're going to remain friends, but we can agree to disagree. I'm not upset with Ray. I'm not going to go back and forth with Ray and try to offer what they call it, ether him for what he said. Shannon, what are you doing? I'm not here to defend what I do or don't do. That's not the issue. Shannon Sharpe is not the issue. Ray Lewis isn't the issue. The issue is what led Colin Kaepernick to originally take a knee. And that was the unarmed killing. That was the injustices that he sees in America. And people are going unpunished. That's why he took the knee. And anything other than that should be unacceptable. But we're talking about a flag, we're talking about an anthem, and we're talking about what he did or didn't do. And all I told him last night, I said, to Ray, the optics of it, of what you said on the show and how outspoken you've been about kneeling, because the anthem and the flag means so much to you. So you can understand how it looked to me, given what you had said, how it looked to me doing what you did. And I don't feel that, if Colin was in that very situation, I don't know, given your stance against him, if you would have kneeled down beside him on both knees or one knee. And that was my only point, Ray.
What was the tone of the conversation when you first said hello?
He was upset.
Yeah.
Calls went unanswered. And like I told him, I said, Ray, eventually you're going to pick. At first, he wouldn't accept any of my calls. Then we started texting.
Yep.
I said, man, I'm not finna sit here. I said, dude, you think I'm about to sit here? You talking about you 42? I'm damn near 50. You think I'm finna sit here and text you back and forth? I picked up the phone. And I think by the tone of my text, he got it like, okay, big bro upset. Let's hash this out. And I was like, Ray, I get that you're upset. I say, but as one of your I say, Ray, you're one of the few people that if you call Shannon Sharpe and say, bro, I need you, I don't ask any questions. I say when. I don't say what you need. I don't say why you need it. When.
Fact.
That's it. So whatever we got going on, okay, I let him speak first. I say, I'm going to let you talk. I want you to voice your side of the equation. And then when you finish, let me have my say. We did that. Bro, I love you. I love you too. You're going to have to do your part tomorrow. I'm going to do my part tomorrow, and I'm going to move forward.
And it ended with what? That?
Bro, I love you.
Good.
Bro, you know I love you.
Beautiful.
I'm always gonna be in your corner. But before we got the phone, we disagreed on this one.
So I appreciate the fact, by the way, I appreciate the fact that I get to do this show with you every day, because I love you as much as I think Ray does. We haven't been together that long, but that was a beautiful story you just told.
I appreciate it.
I realize that it makes you slightly uncomfortable that you have become part and parcel of this story. But from my perspective, you have, whether you like it or not, because you have become a profoundly powerful national voice on the Kaepernick issue, defending him and trying to continue to fight for what he's saying,
yes,
as opposed to what he's doing.
Right.
And you continue to fight for the message more than the form of the protest.
Correct.
Love it. Believe in it. Get it. Ray Lewis has been a profoundly powerful voice for the black community in many ways. And all of a sudden, he's at odds with many in the black community. And if you don't mind me bringing it up, I think there's a petition in Baltimore. Help me out with it.
Yes, there's a petition, and it has, I think, 20,000 as of early this morning to have his statue removed from in front of Raven Stadium. After all he's given to that community, Skip, at some point in time, we're going to have to be able to disagree. And he called me, and I could hear the pain, I could hear the anguish and the hurt, and he was almost in tears. He's like, Shay, do you understand how many death threats I've received? Do you understand that my family has received death threats and I've had to turn this over to Baltimore PD? It shouldn't be that, Skip. Ray and I have a difference of opinions on how we should resolve this issue.
Okay.
But to have discourse, you can't be upset because one guy is not in your corner that you would want to do harm to him or his family. That's not what this is about. We should be able to have healthy dialogue. We should be able to disagree. And at the end of the day, I disagree with you, bro, but I understand, I respect your point of view. And to remove his statue, what did his statue have to do with anything? He has been very active in the Baltimore community.
Has he?
So I don't get that. You can be disappointed because he doesn't support the stance that you share with Colin Kaepernick. But it's going too far when you try to do, when you think about or you mention doing harm to him or his family in that statue. Well, if they try to remove that statue, let me tell you what's going to happen. There's two people that's going to make a lot of money. Construction companies that's taking it down and the sculptors that build it. Because when they take it down, I'm going to have two to put back up. So let's just leave the statue alone. Let's stick to the issue. Ray and Shannon are fine. We just disagree on the Colin Kaepernick situation.
Okay, let's go back to how all this began right here on Undisputed, because you took issue with Ray's role in or stance on Steve Bisciotti, the Ravens owner, whether he would or wouldn't sign Colin Kaepernick, right?
Correct.
You guys locked horns.
Yes.
Brothers sometimes do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told you this before, and I believe it with all my heart. You are as close to being a brother to him without biology,
Yes.
right, than you are to your own brother Sterling.
When we played, we would talk 2, 3, 4 times a week. Even when we were going to play on Sunday. Bro, you know I'm going to try to cook y'all. Shay, I'm going to have me 20 tackles and this. Okay, that's the type of relationship we had. And even when I retired and he played 7, 8 years after I did, I would still talk. Shay, what do you think about this? Shay, what do you think about that? So we have an unbelievable relationship. And I probably talk to him more than I talk to my own brother.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, when he went through his murder charge
Yes.
after that Super Bowl in Atlanta,
Correct.
and you were in Baltimore, he moved in with you for
I had
time?
he was going through what he was going through. I signed in April. He started going through what he was going through in end of May. I was picking him up from his hotel. I said, "Man, bro, don't be paying that money. You paying enough money for these defense attorneys." He moved into my basement. Wow. And so once that was over, we trained back and forth. And like I said, I seen him at his highest. He won Defensive Player of the Year that year. Mm-hmm. Later went on to win Super Bowl MVP. So I know Ray Lewis at his absolute lowest, but I've seen him at his absolute highest.
Got it. So back to the fateful day, you guys went at it on Undisputed on August the 1st. Ray did other shows here on Fox Sports 1, and then as he was leaving in the back seat of the car, being driven back to, I assume, his hotel here in West Los Angeles, he decided he needed to respond to the people responding to him via Twitter and a few texts that he had received. And so in the back seat, he decides to record and post a video.
Correct.
And this became the flashpoint of everything that's happened to date.
Correct.
And I don't have time to go through the whole thing, but he starts out, he says, how crazy is this? I'm just leaving the set at Fox, and I got all these texts and all this stuff about Colin Kaepernick and all this stuff, and he's just off the top of his head.
Right.
Pretty dangerous,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And he goes into how he's prayed and prayed for Colin Kaepernick. I applaud you for what you stand for, my brother. It's actually a message to Colin that I almost wished, upon further review, had been privately to Colin as opposed to going through the public to get to Colin, right?
Right.
And he keeps saying, I got nothing against you, but it's time for you to speak out. Another flashpoint, because all those trying to help Colin have wanted him to make one more updated statement. Here's who I am. Here's what I believe. And I am full force focused back on football.
Right.
And he already released a statement saying from this point forward, this is what, 2-3 months ago?
Right.
No more protests from me, right?
Right.
I just want to play football. But that doesn't mean I don't believe in everything that I did. Okay. So here's the real flashpoint. This is a minute and 16 into this video. Ray Lewis says, talking about people encouraging you, leading you the right way or the wrong way, as in Twitter people.
Mm-hmm.
He says, all right, they'll lead you the right way, and they'll stop encouraging you to participate in this nonsense. That's the operative word to me. The battles you're fighting, brother, the people have been fighting before you for many, many years. The next day, when we had Ray on, that was my question to Ray. I didn't make it a statement. I made it a question. Ray, I said, I'm just paraphrasing, but I said, nonsense? So you're going to dismiss everything Colin has fought for as nonsense?
Right.
As in, hey, young man, you can't have any impact here because people have fought this battle for years and years before you, and they've all, quote unquote, failed. I'm putting words in Ray's mouth, but that's kind of where that was headed, right? It's not nonsense to me. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm being naive. I'm pretty sure it's not nonsense to you.
Absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure that both of us agree that Colin Kaepernick has had some impact, right?
Absolutely.
Has he not moved the needle?
Yes.
Has he not opened a few eyes and a few ears and maybe a couple of hearts?
The mere fact that, Skip, we're talking about him and he's not playing professional football. So his platform is not what it once or what it would be had he been playing. But we're still talking about him. So clearly, he's had an impact.
Okay, so Ray concludes in this video of August the 1st, get back into our sanctuary, the football field. Quit worrying about all this nonsense, and don't worry about people judging you. They're going to judge you anyway. So he says, keep what you do to yourself. Don't do it publicly anymore. Well, this goes against everything you believe that Colin Kaepernick he's not only risked his job, it's pretty clear right now, he's lost his job.
Correct.
Over this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, in the end, that's August 1st. The next day is August the 2nd. And you get a response from Colin's girlfriend, who posts, I think it was on Twitter, the Django Unchained picture of Ray and Bisciotti, arm in arm after, I think, the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
And then everything blows up from there because our friend John Wooten, who runs the Fritz Pollard Alliance, oversees the Rooney Rule, when he saw the Django Unchained, he said, I'm out.
Right.
And their point was they believed that they were this close with Steve Bisciotti to getting Colin Kaepernick signed in Baltimore, and that the Django Unchained tweet blew it all up. I don't know what to believe there. You have a view of that. I have a view of that.
Right.
But the point is, this is where it all went south for Ray, because now he's right in the crossfire.
Right.
This,
and,
right?
I told Ray, I said, Ray, the thing that people have a hard time understanding is that you were so outspoken for Colin publicly, but you're secretly behind the scenes working, trying to get him a job. So they said, like, hold on, wait a minute. You're saying this, you say what he's doing is nonsense. You say that there are better ways, and so many people have fought and died trying to protest this and get change. He should move on, but secretly behind the scenes, you're working to get him a job. You can understand, even for me, how that would seem like, you working behind the scenes trying to get him a job, but you say this publicly? So you can see how people would be confused. I was confused.
And obviously, we were all confused on Sunday morning here in Los Angeles when he appears to be kneeling, locking arms with Ravens, and it appears hypocritical. Like, which is it, Ray? But he says, no, you missed the nuance here, which is, I was on two knees because I'm praying for these kids who are all confused, and I'm reaching for God. I'm trying to honor God in the midst of chaos. Okay, I get that, but it doesn't come across that way.
Correct.
The optics are not good.
Because you said the anthem and you said the flag because you had family and friends to fight for this country, and the flag and the anthem mean something to you. So you said you couldn't get down on the knee. Okay, even if you got down on two knees, Colin Kaepernick got down on a knee. So if they playing the anthem and the flag, would you not get down on two knees beside him and ask God to give him strength and guidance and to see him through this? Because Colin Kaepernick, I mean, we saw the Sports Illustrated cover. The guy that started this movement is not on the cover. And they said, well, we're talking about this weekend. This weekend is because of Colin Kaepernick, because he's who was Donald Trump, President Trump was talking about. So how could he?
Nothing about the cover made a lot of sense to me.
Right. And so, that was my thing. I said, Ray, the optics of it, given what you had
Yep.
said, and given what you were doing at that very moment, they didn't mesh.
Right.
I say, but I still love you. I say, we still gonna be great friends. We're gonna be brothers. I say, but we just see this one differently.
Yep.
We're trying to get to the same destination. We're in two different cars and we're taking different directions.
Well, it's really disappointing. The fans are trying to get his statue taken down. There's over 28,000 signatures now. Forget the fact that Ray Lewis is a major part of the only reason why you're relevant as a winning franchise to begin with, but it's disappointing you'd be so blinded by hate and prejudice that you would allow that type of situation to happen after everything he's done for that community. But
Right.
we'll see. Will Dwayne Wade be a game changer for the Cavs this season? We'll discuss that next.
And I won't back down.